episode of the DNVR Rapids podcast, and we are live from the Toyota Lounge. And even though it's a loser's lounge, you'll feel like a winner every day you drive a Toyota. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Well, that sucked. Rapids out of the Leagues Cup semis, don't get a shot at the title. LAFC blows the doors off the house of horrors for the Rapids. Still have yet to find a win at the bank. 4-0. 40 great minutes of soccer were played by the Pids in this one. Unfortunately, it was the first 40 and not the last. I'm joined by the fellas. It's Cowboy Super Yaya.
Man, this is weird. The last Losers Lounge I was on is over a month ago.
That's sick, though.
That's the LA Galaxy game. Because I wasn't even on that Portland game.
Right, because you were gone.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't even know what it means to be sad anymore.
That's true. Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Welcome back to being bummed out, dude.
We were talking about this before the show, before you're introduced to Dwayne or anything, or yourself, that the Rapids should just move to Liga MX. They'd be a number one place team out there.
That's right. We own that bum league. Also joining us, it's downtown Dwayne Brown.
Hello. I'm so sorry about the loss.
It's your fault. I'm your host, Mitch Carroll, in case I forgot to say that at the top. This is not going to be our standard Losers Lounge. We just did a whole watch along talking about every step of that game, and I think we're all in a place. We kind of ended that stream in a place where we were talking about how this turnaround is dramatic. This time a year ago, we were looking at getting back into the worst league season that we have had ever. We were about 2 weeks away from firing Frazier, right? 2 weeks from the dumpster fire tifo in LA. And the fact that we're here, bummed that we didn't move on to the Leagues Cup final, is pretty awesome. That is awesome. I will stand by that. I will stand on that. Rapids we've had so much fun this month, more than we probably deserve.
Man, the hopes are high. Last year they went into Leagues Cup, got eliminated in group stage, worst team ever, and immediately after Leagues Cup went on this really fun run where they were just fun to watch. What if they do that again and they just like dominate the MLS for the next 8 games and then go in really good form into the MLS Cup?
Yeah, but the problem is, man, they play Sunday and then they play Saturday, so they're already going in on a short week. They do get a week off after that, right? They play Sunday for the third place game for a Champions League spot. Champions Cup spot now. Then you play Dallas, then you get a week off. So, you know, there is a break on the horizon, but they just look so tired, Dwayne. The whole team just looks exhausted.
Yeah, I think they pushed as hard as they can, and for this whole tournament, and have played really, really well, way above expectations. Doing things like being the first MLS side to wipe out 4 Liga MX, teams in a row. That's a lot of work. When you've got a game every 3 to 4 days, it's rough. So, I think LAFC looked like they had a little more in the tank tonight. They were faster on the ball. They were covering more ground. And the guys looked a little bit gassed, as would be expected of any club.
Big shout out to our guy Riley coming up and dropping off Yaya beer. He deserves that beer after watching that game. Man, they put in the white flag in this one pretty early too. I mean, it was over after that second goal went in right before halftime.
Yep.
Right? The Rapids played 40 good minutes, and we can, usually we go through the whole game thread and kind of break it down, moment by moment, but it's so tough to see. We could tell about 20 minutes in that they looked tired, that the energy level was low, and there was a lot of chances. There was a goal called off in that first 20. But the Rapids were getting at least, a couple set pieces here and there on the other end. Few dangerous corners. They couldn't connect. And LAFC, if you make a mistake, they're gone the other way. Bouanga, Bogusz, they just have the chemistry that you wish any 2 attackers on this team had. They are so far ahead of what I think any other team in the MLS has in terms of just those 2 being unstoppable weapons.
Except for maybe like Cucho
Yeah,
Cucho
and Rossi.
and Rossi
yeah.
might be the only other one that can. But again, the two best MLS clubs are going at it in this League's Cup finals, so it's you kind of understand why this is the final, right? You have a little bit of two Cinderella stories on both ends with Philly, shout out PHLY, and JP and Renee doing a great job out there, and Andrew. And then you have the Colorado Rapids, shout out us, DNVR.
That's right.
Dwayne, Mitch, and Yaya.
That's right.
Going on a really crazy run with even Philly not having a great year either. Philly kind of teetering.
A down year.
Yeah, really teetering, really.
Yeah.
And you had them make a run in Leagues Cup as well. They're feeling good too because it's not the best year, but they kind of got there, right? But it comes down to just the talent level on this team and on Columbus. It's so much higher than the Rapids have faced all tournament. I think even compared to Club America, and just for the reason that the top end players for LAFC just feel a lot bigger, a lot better. They feel a lot faster than anything that Club America has, and it kind of felt like it was time, right?
Yeah, I want to jump in the Toyota chat here. Victor says, great question from Victor. Thank you, everybody that's jumping in the chat after a game like that, man. Did LAFC give us a reality check / should we have kept Bombino? I would say no and no. I think the Rapids kind of know that they're in that second tier in the West, right? And they might even be in the third tier in the West because it might be LAFC, then Galaxy and Utah on their own, fake Salt Lake, and then the Rapids at the top of that next one. There's just levels. And, unfortunately that is kind of the reality.
They're right at the bottom of that second tier, at the top of that third one. They're right at teetering. And I think selling Bombi was still the right choice.
100%.
Because that's money that you can spend on new players coming in next year. And hopefully you can utilize it as good as you used it on Bombi, as good as you used it on Maxu and Sam Bynes and all these guys that have come in and made a difference for the Rapids. Connor Ronan was not an expensive buy either. So hopefully you can use that money very intelligently and get some good players out of $7 million plus whatever the budget wage is for next year. But at the end of the day, it's not really a reality check. It's more of a dominance check. It's just of like, hey, this is where you stand. There's your pecking order right now.
I think if you asked anyone in that building if they were ahead of schedule, I think you would get a unanimous answer of yes, Dwayne. I think everyone over at the Richard in those offices thinks they are ahead of the rebuild schedule. But when you've had this success, it's really hard to keep that schedule in mind, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, in the MLS season, we're 14 points ahead of where we were, 14 points ahead of the entirety of last season.
Yeah.
Already with 8 games left. We get a gift from our performance in this tournament in that we play for third place and possibly get a spot, And so, yes, it's hard to schedule that out because you are kind of choosing, do we want to focus on this tournament or do we want to focus on MLS season? And I think once they saw a little bit of success in the tournament, they went all in on it. And that's exactly what we should have done. So, our guys look a little gassed, and maybe that hurts us for a game or two in the rest of the season. But I don't know. It was fun to play for something.
Be the talk of the nation.
Yeah.
And not just the nation of Mexico too. I had family members out there messaging me, texting me, calling my wife. It's like, who are these Colorado Rapids?
Really?
I did. People
That's
were
sick.
All over the pundits in Mexico were talking about how did America lose to the Rapids? Is MLS better? The Rapids started a real conversation about where the MLS belongs in the tiers when it comes to not just North American football, but all this side of the world,
Like FIFA rankings for
FIFA
leagues.
ranking, they started a real conversation because you just beat the number one team, and there's nothing you can really be mad about it. You have to love what this team left out there, no matter what. Whether today was a good performance or a bad performance, whether they gassed or not, they left it out there in this tournament, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
They were playing a game every 4 days. I would be gassed if I were them. Again,
For
I'm
sure.
not a pro athlete, right? But regardless, if I'm gassed, they should probably be gassed at some point too.
Yeah.
Agree with Crash the Karsh, our guy who, God, you rode with us during that watch along. You're back in the Losers Lounge. Shout out to the true sickos who do that kind of thing for us, man. You guys are the real MVPs. I do love that they pushed for it. I love that they said, they got blown out by Portland. It was this game. It was the same scoreline. It was 4-0. It wasn't close. It wasn't competitive. And instead of just bowing out like last year and focusing on 8 MLS games and playoffs, they said, no, we're just going to go ahead and beat 4 Liga MX teams. We're going to have the biggest win in club history without a trophy involved. And I'm happy they did it. And then on Sunday, they have a shot at a CONCACAF Champions League game. And that is going to be a rare thing for this Rapids team. I feel like even if they spend the money in this winter window and they bring in another guy or 2 or 3, you're still going to end up below the LAFCs and the Cincy's and the Columbuses. And that's okay, right? You can still make some dream runs in the cup maybe. But this is a rare thing for them to be able to play in a continental competition. Maybe you get guys in, maybe you get a Guatemalan team, or maybe you get an island nation team, and you have the resources to make a few rounds and really make it interesting. So that is really something to play for. This team is going to take Sunday very seriously.
Oh, definitely. And you kind of saw it tonight with the subs, right? You saw a lot of the starter players coming out, kind of rest up a little bit more. Even if it's only 45 minutes more, it's going to help out quite a bit. But at the end of the day, it's all proud from our boys. We don't take this as a loss. We take this as a learning experience, right? It was a measuring stick game, and at the end of the day, you look at it, you think, where else could you be if nowhere else but happy? It's the only thing you can really feel at this point. It's really hard to be upset at the Rapids. They were at the brink of elimination in group stage, came back and beat Leon in penalties, and they just took that on the run. You cannot be mad at that.
Yeah, mad doesn't even make the list of emotions right now, Dwayne.
No, and again, there is still a prize out there.
A big
we will
prize.
be playing for that on Sunday. But, the thing is, you look back at the last couple of weeks, and, there were storylines, man. Everybody was all in on the Rapids. We have people, from DNVR who don't normally even pay attention or realize that soccer exists that are talking about the Rapids. You see the national guys talking about the Rapids. You got Twellman making jokes about himself again, all caps, the Rapids. It's just the last few weeks were fun, man. It was fun to watch the Colorado Rapids play soccer. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, love it or hate it, whatever on this tournament, but it was good for us.
Yeah. Now that the Rapids are out of this tournament, what a Mickey Mouse tournament.
They're not out of the tournament yet.
Not even a real damn tournament.
They're not out of the tournament.
Now that they can't win first place, what a Mickey Mouse tournament.
Not a Mickey Mouse champion spot. Not a Mickey Mouse champion spot.
This is all satire, guys. I'm not
It
a
is a
big
dumb
Leafs-
tournament. No,
I'm not a Leafs
You're
Cup
right,
guy.
dude. It is a stupid tournament. This is a dumb tournament.
I love it.
I'm not a
'Cause
Leafs
we
Cup
might
guy.
get a-
I'm
we
truly
might
am not.
get
But I think it's
CONCACAF
just
spot out of it, so
maybe,
I love it.
But the thing is, maybe I'm just not a Leagues Cups guy because it's so new. It's hard for me to embrace it as an actual cup. Give it a couple years, and I'm gonna feel remember with the Rapids beat your ass, Leon?
Well, bro, the second edition of the FA Cup in England probably wasn't that tight.
No, it wasn't.
right?
It was like,
But the 100 whatever version of the FA Cup is sick.
we're going to look back in 50 years if this thing
Yeah.
keeps going and be like, the Rapids did great in the second version.
I promise, in 50 years, no MLS team will have won 4 straight against Mexican teams in this tournament.
Also,
That will not be touched.
no. Also, Mile High Hotspur. I'm really sad you didn't come here and say hi to me today.
He was here.
He was here, and I'm really sad I didn't get to
I
say
saw
hi to
him.
you.
I said, what's up? We dapped.
Also, shout out Eric. He came out here at the bar, said, "What's up, Yaya?" I got to talk to him for a little bit. It was a lot of fun. Trained down there for the raffle. We still got Rapids fans here. People are drinking on a Wednesday night. It's a good time.
Yeah, no, there was a ton of people out here. Shout out Julio. Shout out Wanners. Dev Dog's in the house. Dev was here. Our guy Kevin.
Kevin and Becky.
We got a live studio
Kevin.
audience. Kevin and his wife out here cheering it on with
can't-
some Coors, baby. The only. Are you not his wife?
Her name
Okay,
is,
Kevin's wife and what?
Becky.
Becky. There we go. Kevin's wife and Becky.
No, but for real, to see this place packed out for a Rapids game after, and I know what Three Lions closing, it wasn't us. There was a bar in between. I know what Three Lions closing did for the soccer community in this neighborhood, in this town. It did damage, and people held a grudge, and they went to the 2 other places to watch soccer in town. But to see it packed out tonight, to see the Rapids willing to come here 2 games in a row and be the official place to watch the game, it was really special for us. I think all of us on this panel, all the hours, all the Saturdays we've given up, all the parties we've missed and hangouts with friends and family we've missed on the weekends, nights like this are worth it. When it's packed to the absolute gills, it's hot and sweaty and packed and tense, and that's what makes it worth it.
Yep, definitely.
So we're gonna dig into things we can pull out of this game. Looking at the third place game, talk a little bit more about the third place game. Probably talk a little bit less about the game we just watched on the other side of this break. But first, we have to talk about our friends at Toyota. Simple as Toyota. I do love Coors Light, but we're talking about Toyota. Definitely don't use the 2 together. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. We love Toyota here. We love Toyota trucks here. Our guy Spence, my events counterpart, host of Big Drive Energy. He's just pushing no big deal of 2024 Tundra. And it is sick. It is so dope. It made me go look at all the 2024 Toyotas on my drive home the other day. I took a cruise through the Stevenson Toyota lot to check out all the new cars. There's the 2024 4Runner, the Land Cruiser, the Tacoma, the iForce Max Hybrid Tundra. There's so many options. They have more hybrid vehicles than any other automaker. They have 17 models with all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. They are perfect for Colorado. They have SUVs that fit your city needs and your mountain needs. RAV4, Grand Highlander. Check all those out. Go to your official Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial. Corwin Toyota in Boulder. Groove Toyota in Littleton. Mountain States Toyota in Denver. Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora. Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Colorado Rapids and the official vehicle of DNVR. We also have to talk about us, DNVR events. We have a ton coming up, and it starts. This is where, look, DNVR is good at a few things. Mostly throwing parties around sports. That's probably the best thing that we're best at. Then podcasts, then memes. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
I
pretty
think
much.
that's pretty close.
Something like that in some order.
sounds
Fire
pretty
t-shirts are in
scientific.
that list. But the events is where we shine, and football season is where we do that best. We have Broncos tailgates all season long, right behind Sports Fan on Federal. You're up above the Broncos parking lots. You have a view of the stadium. You have a view of downtown. You have a view of every tailgate happening below ours. Primo Hoagie's going to be there. There's party buses from the bar to the stadium, to the tailgate, and then after the game from the tailgate back. Tons of great options. It's so much fun. I just did the preseason one on the weekend. It's great. Even better, the Buffs have one up on Saturdays if you're a Buff. We have a huge parking lot right off of 28th and Arapahoe. Parking is available. You can get your parking ticket ahead of time, so you can just pull up, leave your car there, walk over to the stadium. You don't have to find a place to park, walk to the tailgate. That just adds another layer of bullshit that we're not into.
Yeah.
We're not into the bullshit.
We want to make your guys' life as a sports fan as fun and as easy as possible at all times.
Get your Buffs tailgate ticket. You get your Buffs tailgate parking pass at once. You show up, you party, you leave after the game.
Yep.
That's a blast. We rotate tons of food options depending on morning and night. Sometimes it's illegal Pete's. Sometimes we get like IHOP breakfast out there, which is crazy awesome. Tons of Breck beers, all the fun stuff. Check that all out at thednvr.com/events. We have a takeover coming up. I believe it's the next home game.
It's going to be fun.
It is against Portland on the 14th. Oh, man, I should have had this memorized. 14th of September. Get your tickets at thednvr.com/events. You get game ticket. You get to hang out here beforehand. Take a bus to the C38 tailgate where you get dev dogs, beers, pizza. Maybe the mini donuts come out.
Mini donuts. Sometimes there's Euros.
We love the Euros. That's my favorite.
We'll get toasty with you guys.
And we'll Manwich one time.
Yeah, I might have to have a sunglasses post game after that takeover, but it's going to be a blast. So if you've ever considered coming out with us for a thing, if you don't have tickets for that Portland game, make this the one that you come out for. I think you're going to have a really good time. The Pids owe the Timbers an ass kicking after the two they've received this year. So that's the game they'll put it back on them. Come out, party with us. It's going to be a great time. Remember, thednvr.com/events. Check them all out. All right, we're back. DNVR Rapids Losers Lounge, unfortunately. Hanging out with Tiff, Yaya, Dwayne. I'm Mitch. And I'm not having the best time, but I am excited for Sunday.
Honestly, just kind of like talking about this LAFC game, it feels like one that you kind of crumble up, you aim for the trash can, and you do your best Kobe impersonation. That's about it, right? Because there's not much you can take away from this game. They just all looked very tired. They looked like they were done with the tournament. I don't think it was a heart thing. It just felt like they were out-talented. They were outworked, and that's fine. It's okay. You guys got way farther than we expected. Trust me, you guys got way farther than I expected, and that's something to celebrate. You knocked out 4 Liga MX teams. You made it all the way to the semis, and you made life a living hell for everybody on the way there, and that's all you can expect. It's insane to think about that the MLS was the reason the Rapids are knocked out, and the only 2 games they lost this whole tournament was because of Liga MX. I mean, because of MLS. They went 4-2, and Portland and LAFC both put 8 goals on them, and they were not able to score. That's just how good MLS is right now.
MLS is good. MLS is competitive at the top. Obviously the talent is where it is, right? Like, there's just not the money or the roster built to really break into that top 5, and won't be for a while. But within the rules and with that, that TAM expansion about 10 years ago, right? And really allowing teams to spend money on that, not top line star guy, but high quality role guys around your stars, guys that are worth a bigger contract, has really opened up and allowed a higher concentration of good teams at the top of the league.
The Ile Sanchez of the LAFC's kind of players.
Your TAM guys.
Yeah,
it's your TAM guys.
The players that are good but not top tier.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's fun knowing that the Rapids have Cole, Stefan, Georgie, and Hoffa, all for the next 4 years. Yep. Well, 4 if you include this one.
Yep,
for sure. Right, you have a core. Time to find a guy to replace the. Time to find a replacement for Bombi. You need to get younger at center back. You need to find a defensive mid, but they're in a good position to hang for sure.
And Mile High Gunner, I know that Liga MX is only 4 games in.
This is
to
the
their
second
league.
season, though.
Yeah, no, but he's saying that they're only four games in. And you know what? The Rapids beat them in 4 games. If the Rapids were in Liga MX, they'd be in first place right now or close to it. After, they would have gotten 12 points. They would have been right there.
Yeah.
They played them for 4 games. And at the end of the day, you're right. They might not be in form. But Liga MX is touted as having more talent, having more players in their league that can go to Europe, it's kind of been proven not true. And it's been proven that maybe the MLS can compete with them at any level right now. We'll see in Champions League. It's going to be a little bit different. But at the end of the day, it's not a huge disparity.
It's close. It's definitely close. And, I just think the days are gone where the top of Liga MX is so far ahead of the top of the MLS. Mm-hmm. Right? I think if you're going middle class for middle class of the league, they're going to be better. Right? Like pick a middling team this year. Austin.
Yeah.
Even though they did beat 2 Liga MX teams in this tournament. Right. I do think that level of team in MX in terms of the table is probably way better. But the best and the best are pretty close.
Yeah.
You can't tell me in form Club America, if they had 10 more games, is way better than LAFC. LAFC is amazing. That's a good soccer club there.
100%.
They got their ass kicked by a good soccer team today, the Rapids. And that sucks. Philly, looking ahead, Philly, not as good of a team. Not nearly as good. But you know what they have right now?
Sandwiches.
Great sandwiches, and then in form
sticks.
and a good keeper. Like Stefan found form in this tournament, Blake might have also found his form again in this tournament. Mm-hmm. That's scary to me, Dwayne.
Yeah. I still think we're a better team, though. And maybe I'm foolish, but I feel like Sunday is a win. I feel like that's a very beatable team in Philly. They made it just as far as we did, but they've had a little more success as of late, whereas I think our run of success has been a little more sustained. So, there's way more of a chance of a recent success falling apart than something that's been more consistent. So I think it's short notice for both teams, so there's no real advantage there. So I think it's going to be 2 very tired squads going at each other, but they both have something really big to play for, Yeah. And depending on how the seeding works out, both teams could get in still, So
I think it's actually it goes back to the league, actually.
Yeah. That third spot from Leagues Cup will just transfer to the finishing in MLS Cup.
Yeah. It doesn't stay in Leagues Cup. I know it's dumb. Stupid rule.
Although I don't know why, because it's two leagues. It's not an MLS. Why would it default back to the MLS? I don't think it does.
Why. I don't know.
Because it's the tournament. Like if there was a Mexican team in this semifinal that got that third spot,
it would go to the Liga MX team. It would go back over there. So basically, it's since you already secured a spot in Leagues Cup, the MLS spot is up for grabs.
MLS got their names on that spot.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
It goes. So if it was Liga MX, it would just go to Liga MX. It just depends who it is.
Here's a breaking quote 7 minutes ago, so not exactly a breaking quote, but Chris Armas in the postgame. Oh boy, tell me what you guys think about this. This is a quote from Chris Armas. Honestly, I want to play them again. Give us another crack at LAFC in the playoffs.
I like it, man. You're not backing down from the comp.
You win in the playoffs, you will get another crack at LAFC. So, it's the road to the final goes through LA.
You're kind of hoping, man. We were talking about this in the watch along, that RSL or Galaxy knocks them out right before you get to face them, or if you have to face them. I'd rather face RSL or Galaxy.
Oh, for sure. I think LAFC is
that good.
Is a shoe-in for Western Conference.
Fair. But you're just, I'm crossing my fingers that one of those two teams.
They're only going to get better as the new guys they brought in get more comfy.
Of course.
So That's a killer team, man.
Here's another good one from Chris Armas. Shout out to Brandon Nurse, Denver Post, and Burgundy Wave for jumping in that post game. Because I certainly wasn't going to. I was not in a mood to ask a question that was just going to get a informed answer. Armas on going to Philly. The belief is there. That doesn't go away overnight. It's built on real things. Principles, character, DNA of these players. I love my team. Yeah, what do you think about that?
I mean, it's true. You build confidence throughout. You don't lose it in a game. It's impossible to lose confidence in a game. Now, if it's a stretch, I believe it. Philly not having Julian Carranzas because he left out to because he went to the Netherlands. They've lost a few key pieces out there. There's a rebuild year next year for them too. They're gonna try to look what, to me, they remind me a little bit of that 22 Rapids team where they won after they won the West in 21. They're kind of trying to rebuild, kind of try to get their pieces back. Mm-hmm. Hopefully next year they can bounce back quicker. The only reason I say hopefully is because of our guys out there in PHLY. I want them to have a good team. But they're trying to recoup as many of their pieces, trying to kind of regather themselves. There's a great run for them, a great kind of like run to their era of having this like dynamic team. And now they kind of have to start looking to the new phase of what they're gonna look like. It's not that hard to beat this Philly team. They also went on a very magical run, but I just think the Rapids are way more talented at this point in the season than Philly is. I'm struggling not to say PHLY instead of Philly.
Yeah. Here's another one from Chris Armas. And man, I like this one. Do you know why? He says, on the last day of the tournament, we'll be playing for something. The watch party back at home at DNVR, they're rooting for us. You get to experience the highs. You're also vulnerable to the lows. That's part of it.
Yep.
I picked that quote because he said DNVR, and that's tight. Shout out our guy, Chris Armas.
Shout out DNVR. Shout out Chris Armas.
He signed the wall. He sat right here, and we talked to him. Pollard, shout out to our guy, Matt Pollard, jumping in the Toyota chat there. Thank you for the quotes. We appreciate it. Anything else you guys want to hit on here?
The rotation.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think rotation in this league, in this tournament, was very key. And I feel like that we talked about it in the watch along. That rotation should have been implemented a lot sooner throughout the run. So your guys didn't seem so gassed throughout the game, right? It feels like they just kind of ran out of energy, and LAFC just had that extra inch of energy, that extra inch of talent that really pushed them forward.
Yeah, and, it does go back to the depth. And it's such a frustration that they didn't add a depth guy or two depth guys.
Yeah.
Because if the guys that you have here haven't been good enough to create situations where you need to rotate in and get some relief for guys, why didn't you get guys that are? You can't go through a whole tournament and a whole season with 11, right? Mm-hmm. And our guy Ski Wilson said it best. You have a solid 11, but not a top group. And because you need an 18. You don't need an 11. You need an 18.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's what it is at the end of the day. It comes down to... I'm sorry, that was bad. It helped me think. It comes down to the Rapids. It comes down to the money, right? It comes down to... LAFC was better because they invested their money. A guy like Oliveira is going to start in almost any team in the MLS, and yet he's a backup for LAFC.
Right.
That's the main difference of a lot of this. Your backups are just... Tillman didn't even play this game at the beginning.
I don't know if he played at all.
Didn't he come in? I thought he didn't come in. Well, I could be wrong, but Tillman didn't even play. Tillman is a starter in many of these teams. As much as I think he's a bad player, a lot of people... He is a contributing piece to a lot of teams in the MLS.
Huh. Trundalo says, hopefully we don't have to go to Colorado in the playoffs.
They understand how difficult it is to play here.
Yeah, I mean, they don't do well in the Rockies. Either side.
No, they don't.
So, that was their only two losses for a lot a lot of the season.
Super chat. I made eye contact with Kevin as soon as that came in. He looked at me and gave me the little finger gun. I loved it.
Chat. Kevin says, we win some, we lose some, but we up the motherfucking PIDs, baby. Let's go. Man. Hey, I don't know what else we got. Do you guys just want to go ahead and give your predictions for Sunday?
Do you have any more ad reads?
No, I did all the ad reads at once.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. I was not stretching this out as far as I could.
I think the Rapids win pretty comfortably at 3-1.
Comfortably.
I think it's a comfortable win, if I'm honest. And that's no... I just think they're better at the end of the day. I think they're just a better team than Philly right now. Philly is prone to break down. And if Blake doesn't have a great game, they usually don't win. The Rapids are known for coming back or doing what they have to do to win a game. So I'm going to go more with like a 2-0, 3-1 scoreline. Not really decided yet. Come Sunday, I'll let you guys know exactly. But for right now, I'm going to be a 2-0 scoreline for sure.
Man, I thought you were going to go higher than that. I also think 2-0. I think Zach's going to finish this game out with a shutout. Remind us that he's been lights out this entire tournament. Tonight, very little, if any, was really what I would put on him versus the defense. I just think it's going to be a big Zach night, and we'll find a couple of goals. I'll say Georgie and Lewis, because he's going to keep starting. I feel like he's due.
You just gave me a headache.
Oh, my God.
That sentence.
I want Calvin Harris starting, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think I'm with our guy Ski Wilson in the chat there. 1-1 PIDs and PKs. Why not? More PKs. But something crazy PKs. I want Stefan taking 2 PKs. I want it to be like 20-19 in PKs. I want it to get weird, bro.
That's going to be insane.
Look, here's my worry. And I don't think that's my actual prediction. I'll get to my actual prediction once I think of it while I talk about the rest of it. That's a podcasting skill right there.
That's exactly what that is. It's all about knowing what you're doing when you're not doing it.
The problem is, again, it's a long travel, right? You probably do come home. They probably fly home tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Maybe even tonight. I don't know what the charter schedule is. You get a couple practice days here, and kind of get your feet back under you, get your head on right, fly out Saturday afternoon. But man, every part of me wants to say that like the run ended and it's gonna stink, but it's gonna be a good time. I think it's gonna be a good time. I think they win. I think they score 3 goals.
Okay.
I do. I think they're pissed about how this game went. Apparently, Georgie had some flu-like symptoms before the game. Hopefully, he flushes all that out. They IV it away. 3-1 PIDs.
It's not that
Cole
far
brace. Maxu header. Boom.
All right.
Why not?
Some first goals for the tournament.
Wow, Pollard says they're not going home. They're going straight to Philly tomorrow.
Makes sense. It's only 4 days.
I don't like that.
It's only 4 days.
Yeah.
I don't like
that's
it.
the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but you guys know ball, so I'll agree. As you guys do. Yeah. Can you please plug us out of here?
DNV_Rapids on Twitter. Please follow us there. Give us a 5-star review wherever you hear this podcast. We really appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up. That's the number one thing I'm looking for right now. There's plenty of you guys watching the stream right now. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That lets the higher ups know that we're doing good, and we really appreciate you guys. We appreciate all the support you guys bring to us. It's one of the greatest things that it feels like somebody that's doing this job. Having people come up to you, say hi, having a bar full for your favorite team. It just feels fun. We really appreciate everything that you guys do.
Dwayne?
Become a diehard. Mitch is gonna tell you why.
I don't know what that voice was, but
It's super late. Let's get to Sunday.
but Die Hard, you get all sorts of cool stuff. You get a Die Hard membership card. You get a free shirt. You get a cool box with some stickers with your first shirt. It's very official. And then you get behind the paywall and you get into the Discord. You get all sorts of fun stuff. You might even join the Madden League through that Discord channel. I think that's cool as hell. And what you're really doing is supporting shows like this one, shows across the network that are working really hard, really hard to bring the best content we can. And it doesn't happen without supporters like you. So we really appreciate you guys that are always in the chat. We appreciate you guys that show up to the bar. We appreciate you guys that sign up to be diehards. The guys that never miss a show, or the guys that tune in for the first time and want to ride with us. Thank you too. Everyone is welcome in this space, and we're trying to grow it as much as we can.
Real quick, also, get your Up the Pit scarves. They're dope. They're fine.
I have them
They're
here.
awesome.
You have to do it in person. Shoot me a DM. I'll bring them to the tailgate, and I will sell them to you there.
If you get a Sharpie, you can drop an F-bomb right in front of the Rapids.
Or just an F.
And then you get Georgie to sign it.
Yeah.
And
Georgie signing my scarf
Then you've
would be
got a quote scarf.
Yeah.
I just
That's
invented
a great idea, Dwayne. I'm not going to lie. I like that idea.
More important than all of that, with a CONCACAF champion spot on the line, Up the Pits.
We all silly like the mayor.